Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hello, how's it going? This is the plant zone, and if you're unfamiliar, this is where I just fuck around and ramble. So let's get to it. So Teenage Engineering has been dominating the synth headlines, I guess you could say, lately with their brand new line of really good looking stuff that costs a lot of money. And I don't have a lot to say on the cost of things. They want to price things whatever they want to price things. You can be mad about it, or you can not buy it, or you could buy it. There's not a lot of options. I mean, maybe they'll do something cooler. Maybe somebody will make a knockoff. Who knows? What are you going to do? But I can tell you that I got to put my hands on the brand new TX-6. And let me tell you something. I had to make this video after I picked this thing up, because taking this thing out of the box and putting it in your hands for the first time, it's undescribable. It's this immense feeling of joy. It is a tremendously phenomenal object. You got to hold this thing in your hand to really understand how tiny it actually is. It's a marginally larger than a Game Boy cartridge. So, I mean, you got that going on, and it just feels really, really nice. The little, vegan leather back feels really good. The metal, all the sliders. It is a very nice little product. The power flipper is not, you don't need to worry about that thing. It's rock solid. And the little headphone adapter is also quite nice. I'm not gonna lie, there was the biggest smile on my face the whole time when I was playing with this thing, and when I was just holding it and having it in my hands. Big fan. So right out the box, this thing is a joy. It's so much fun just to hold in your hands and play with. But immediately afterwards is where a little bit of trouble in paradise starts to occur. So this thing is small. It's incredibly tiny, and the pots are super annoying to use. It's not very great to be trying to manipulate these very tiny pots, especially in a precise manner. The numbers that pop up on the screen are in decimals. It's 0.06, and you're trying to make precise frequency, nudges and things of that nature, and they're just too small. The other thing that is way too small, unfortunately, is the space between the input jacks, which is painfully lacking. If you don't have incredibly thin cabling, or the probably Teenage Engineering branded cables, you're gonna be having a hard time plugging stuff in. This is kind of a big issue for me. I'm not a huge fan of this buy our cables, deal with that, blah, blah, blah. But something, I'll give you a good thing and a bad thing. Every time you plug a cable in, it asks you if you would like to have that input be stereo, mono, or split. So, 2 mono signals, which is freaking awesome. Every mixer in the world should have that from now on. Okay, please and thank you. The effects are okay. You got the 2 blocks, and you can use them at the same time, and there are some really good combinations that you can get in there with some tape stops and everything. But the delays and reverbs, they sound very digital. They kind of sound like the type of stuff you'd find on the pocket operators, to be honest. And same thing with the kind of wackier effects. You don't have a ton of control over them. It's cool to have in there, it's very fun. And you got it in your hand, you can just punch them in, It's fun. Every channel has a dedicated compressor too, which you can dial in, which is also very nice. And then, the EQ on every channel is very nice to have. Yeah, so I can, it's all there is the thing. Is everything you could ever want in a mixer is right there. And it's at your fingertips. But just the very tip of your fingertips. So the synthesizer and drum machine, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm about to burst somebody's bubble here, but they are not super great. You can't really control a whole ton of stuff on the device. You have a preset patterns over a 16-step grid, and so you can kind of just scroll through the different patterns, and there are good ones, and then every track you can set as a drum machine voice or a synth with 4 waveforms. And yeah, that's it. It's every single pocket operator is cooler than what is going on there. But that they were really stoked on that. So yeah, I think that this is really hard for me because honestly, this is a super cool device, and I think that it's very, very awesome. Price point aside, even at the price point, I think this is a really, really cool device. Think of it as an audio interface, you're getting a lot. Think of it as a mixer, you're getting a lot. It's really, really cool. It's just there are a couple of things like the size and how you're going to use it, because that's another thing is this thing will not sit on a table, and it's got this vegan leather back, which feels nice, great when you're holding it, but you put it on a table and it's going to slide around. And you got 6 cables plugged into this thing, maybe 4 on the top, 2 on the bottom. You're doing Q stuff, you're doing the DJ stuff, whatever. You need 2 hands to manipulate this thing. So, in my use cases where I like to have, maybe 2 or 3 hardware boxes, and I'll have maybe hand on one and hand on the other, this is a no-go for me, because you need to be dedicated to using it when you are using it. And I'm going to say you're really going to want to be holding it and using 2 hands. So those are super big aspects of this device. I actually don't think that this thing is overpriced. I think that it's really cool and it offers a lot. It just, at the moment, ergonomically, it's not the right tool for me, and I imagine that it's probably not the right tool for a ton of other people as well. Honestly, I'm not even mad about the price. I could care less about what Teenage Engineering decides to price their stuff at. They be selling t-shirts for $600. You really think? No, who cares? Functionally, at the moment, this is not a great tool for me. And that's just my opinion. And I imagine that it's not going to be a great tool for a ton of other people as well, for, some of the reasons I listed. Maybe other reasons. Maybe the price is one of those reasons. Who knows, But I do think that it is an incredibly novel and fun little device. And that's my take that's my take as some dude on the internet who pointed a camera at himself and his plants and got constantly interrupted by his dog. So yeah, there's just another opinion. I bet you've gotten a bunch of these lately, especially on Teenage Engineering, but that's mine. We give, weird opinions. We try to keep tutorials and stuff flowing over here, but we're trying new stuff. I got some new lights and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, if you want to check out some of the gear that I do think is awesome tools and good stuff to be using, check out the description, because there's probably going to be some links down there and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, maybe subscribe if you thought my rambling was entertaining or something. And you know what? I'll post more videos and you could watch them if you want, and you could hit that like button if you want, or you could leave a comment if you want. You could say something nice, you could say something mean. I don't really care. It all feeds the algorithm. So go for it, baby. And we'll see you next time.